Welcome to Barbells, Business and Boobs, where we discuss navigating everyday life as lifters, business owners, and being a woman in a male-dominated industry. Season finale.
I know. Can you believe it? Is this our third season?
Yeah, it's our third season. The first one was like never ending because we didn't really know.
Yeah, we didn't really know like there's a season. I was like, okay, we keep going. And I was like, okay, we've had like 20 episodes. I think that we're good now. I was like, oh yeah, we could have a season end.
I'm proud of us though, because podcasting is actually for all social medias, including TikTok, YouTube, the stat, I don't remember the stat off the top of my head, but most people fail at their podcast. Like they'll record an average of 8 episodes and then never again.
I didn't know that, but like it makes sense because like you never see those like memes like everyone thinks they can have a podcast, and do this. And I'm in the boat of like, yeah, if you want one, do it. Like, why not create something and like put your voice out there and like people are gonna listen, but also doing this like project, I realized how hard it is. You do, I mean, I guess it's like anything else. You record it and then the work's not done. You have to edit it and you promote it and all those things. So I can relate. But our stress level this season, I think, has been the least of all seasons, with like hiccups on like the technology side. Maybe.
Yeah, the least hiccups, and I feel like we had the best guests. I feel like we were the most prepared for them.
Yes.
And it was cool because even today, I feel like more people listen to podcasts on Spotify. And I was just quickly like, so when we share an episode, I go to my own personal YouTube and share our Barbell Business Boobs one.
Okay, yeah.
And on the Meg episode, which we didn't even promote, we had like 300 something views on there. So I was like, oh, cool.
Oh, cool. Yeah, now we're promoting it today. That was a freaking awesome episode.
I know. So I think you said that was your favorite episode, right?
Well, I said it was one of my favorite episodes because like this thing too, it's like before this, I was looking at everything and that's like definitely the freshest, right? But it was cool because I have met Meg in real life a few times and have, conversations with her at the gym, and there's still so much I didn't know about her. So that was cool. So that's why I said it was like, yeah, like my favorite. But like, as you said, as I was going through our episodes, I was like, man, like everyone had like something that like I really took away from, and I was like, damn, that's like cool. And it made me think like, oh my gosh, like we know some really cool people. Like,
yeah, definitely. And then one more thing on like podcast producing, I thought this was pretty funny. Monday morning, one of my friends that is the photographer I shot with this past Sunday, and he does a little bit of everything. He's still enlisted and he does more videos, a lot of car shows, but he works with my friend Miss Red. So I got to shoot with him on Sunday. And then he texted me Monday, hey, do you have time for a quick phone call? I want to pick your brain about a couple of things. And I was like, yeah, no problem. He goes, I like your podcast. He goes, I've never really listened to any 2 female hosts on a podcast. It's really good. He goes, do you mind me asking how much money you make when you do it? And I started laughing.
Oh my gosh.
Because he wants to start a podcast. And I was like, okay, the best advice I can give you is do not do it for money. Look at it like an audio version of your brand, because you'll definitely be able to network with amazing people, hear stories, but it is a lot of work. And Christy and I have been doing it for almost 3 years, and we are just now at the point where we are going to try to capitalize on it. So he was like, oh, so yeah. So I was really shocked that someone thought we made money on it, because I was like, oh, I guess that means we sound really professional.
That means it's coming. Yeah, that is the thing too. And what I think about it too is like we have so many people who listen to this podcast where I feel like our clients can get value, and then people can come to us for other things and services. Of course, we want to also make this podcast profitable because it is a lot of work, and on top of all the other things we do. But that's really cool that like at least we do it well enough that, it's a legit podcast now. And I mean, it's exciting. It's still exciting. I'm sure so we're going to Arnold next week and we'll be walking around. You guys probably won't hear this episode before then. But it's cool because right now I get DMs. I get a lot of DMs about breast augmentation too, because that was one of our bigger episodes. Oh, we found your podcast. Da, da, da. But it's cool when someone comes up to you and they say like, oh, like I saw you compete back in this time and it really inspired me or whatever. Or I loved your post on this. But what's cool is getting like the best compliment for us is like, oh my gosh, I love your podcast. We're like, yes, like that means a lot to us because it's like our little baby.
I know, I know. Yeah, like when I was at your wedding, I feel like half your guests like knew about our podcast. So
Yeah,
that was really
yeah, I
cool.
know. Yeah, Gary's mom is the number one listener.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Sue.
Awesome. Yeah. So we had a good season, episode 1. We didn't do a lot by ourselves this year. I think we only did 2, the
Mhm.
kind of catch up one talking about weddings, which is funny because now it's my turn.
I
Woohoo.
know
So,
we haven't talked about you getting engaged. And we're like, oh, we should catch up this episode. I was like, I have nothing to talk about. I forgot. Like since the last time we had to catch up, you freaking got engaged. Bridal
yeah.
era. I'm
Woohoo. Yeah.
so excited. You know what? I keep on getting notifications. People are liking my comment. You posted a video of you in a wedding dress, but not the one wedding dress that you're going to wear, but
Yeah.
a beautiful wedding dress. Looked amazing. And I said, I'm going to cry when you walk to the aisle. There was like 150 likes on that comment.
Yeah.
So
I
some
have
people
no
are going
idea.
to cry. But I think,
It's so
did
funny.
that post go a little viral?
It went viral,
Yeah.
which is it goes to show you that social media,
Yes.
you really can't ever win on it. Because I posted that like Saturday night, super
I
late, usually
know.
when there's no engagement,
It-
and totally random. I just kind of wanted to show so the bridal shop I went to, the girl and I went to a couple, but this girl and I we got along because she
Yeah.
also, believe it or not, she just started lifting to lose weight.
Oh, okay.
So
Wait,
we were
did
like,
you
okay,
go
cool.
alone?
So on Friday, I went with one of my girlfriends who's in the wedding, and we went for like 9 hours.
Oh my gosh.
I tried on at least 100 dresses, and I thought I found it on Friday, and then I showed it to my mom, and this could be another podcast episode in itself where we talk about
need it. Me too. Yeah.
moms with their opinions. But my mom was like, I really don't think that flatters your body. You're way too big, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, kind of not mad. I was like, okay, I know my mom's helping me pay for this dress. I have to appease her too. And she had a good point because she used to work actually at a wedding place selling dresses. And she goes, they were just trying to sell it to you because the dress I thought I was going to get, I really liked it, but they were going to have to redo the top because it was too small because of my lats. And my mom was like, it's really easy to make a wedding dress smaller. She goes, it's really hard to make a wedding dress bigger. So I appeased her and went to one more place that I didn't go to. And I'm so glad I listened to her because I found exactly the dress I wanted. And I can talk about it on here because Anthony's not going to listen to this episode. I'm not going to say what it looks like, but I really, really wanted sleeves. I wanted long sleeves because it's the middle of February. And I wanted more of kind of like an Elsa Winter Wonderland look. So I found it.
So excited. I can't even contain myself right now. You can put sleeves on for the reception or for pictures. Like you can have long gloves or like detachable sleeves or something. You can get a little crazy with some accessories.
I know, but no, this is exactly what I wanted. It's super cool. And then the girl was into lifting, and she actually asked me. She's like, hey, I know you do a lot of social media, just because we were chatting, like while I was getting dressed. And she goes, would you be willing? She goes, obviously not the dress you got, but would you be willing to give us a little shout out? And then we can give you like half off accessories. Yeah. I was like, yeah, sure. No problem. Because that's again, so it went viral, and I was kind of annoyed because you know how we talk about not a lot of people read captions.
Yeah. And you're like, oh my God, your dress is beautiful. You're like, it's not my dress.
I'm like, it's not the dress. I'm like, I wouldn't post that.
You know what? I really wish, I've been thinking a lot about it lately with like muscular body types and the wedding stuff. Cause like last year, and I know we talked about this, I think with Meg's podcast, is like it's so weird, the weird emotions, because you're like, I love being buff, and then you get in a pretty dress that's like maybe doesn't flatter you a certain way, or you're like, I feel a little bit too like muscular. I've had this idea for a post for a long time. So to kind of, I want it to be like 2026 brides. Like if you're feeling like anxious about like how you're going to prepare for your wedding, like this is how I prepared for it. I didn't change any of my lifting. All I did was put padding on myself so I didn't bruise myself.
I remember that.
It was so funny. So I don't know. It just kind of brought back like, I felt so kind of self-conscious in that era. Like I wish I would have like posted more. Cause like the engagement bridal era was so fun. Like I wish I would have shown like taking more pictures and videos to dress. I just think I was like paralyzed by it. Like by all the decisions and stuff. But now like looking back, I'm like, oh man, like looking back at pictures, I'm like, this was like so fun. Like I should have like celebrated this more like online. Of course I did it in like person, but I don't know, it just brought back a lot of like seeing you do that and then hearing what your mom said about saying, oh, like you're feeling, like how you're feeling about your lats or whatever. It made me think uh, a lot about that. But
Well,
definitely, it's true though, because you have a body that is super unique and awesome. But so no matter what, you're going to need it tailored to like, really snatch in the weight. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I'm
and make
glad
your
you,
boobs like look even bigger, like, or
yeah.
better, whatever. It's just because like when you put them on and like they just like clinch like up the back, it's like, oh, that already looks better. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you're going to just want it to be like,
I'm glad you brought that point up though, because on Friday there was a split second because I'm pretty confident in my body,
yeah,
especially this off season, I feel like I stayed relatively lean. And I, for a split second on Friday, was like, maybe I should lose some weight or stop training arms for a few weeks
oh
before
my
the wedding.
God,
And then I
I
was like,
thought
no, no,
that.
no, no, no. I was like, because
Yes.
no. So I was just even a little upset with myself just to show, I just wanted to share that because like those thoughts still cross,
Yeah,
people
they
think we're so
do.
confident. And yeah.
Oh my God,
And
you
then
go through
even,
phases because this is going to bring
and,
out different things for you, right?
And then,
Like,
yeah, like I know the people at the wedding shop were trying to compliment me, but
but you're like,
sometimes
shut
those,
up. Yeah, yeah. You're like, that's not the right
comments
way. Or like,
come on, yeah.
yeah, what they say, like, what, like, for
She was
example, what
like,
was something?
she goes, she was an older woman, very, very, very nice.
Yes.
But she said, like, if you don't mind me asking, like, how much do you weigh? She's like, because you're solid, but you're one of the biggest girls I've ever seen. And I was like, oh, I don't mind. And then when she was tightening me up, she's like, it's funny because you look so much smaller in close. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, lady.
Oh my gosh. They're just like amazed by your physique. But it's like, yeah, because those certain situations, those things are like complimentary, but you're like, I just don't want to hear it when I'm like trying on a wedding dress. So, like, it's just one of those things. You're already feeling, I don't know, it's just it was so weird trying on wedding dresses, but it was fun. I wish I would have tried on more. The fact you tried on 100 is
At least, yeah.
crazy. You probably needed some like pre-workout that day for that. I think I tried on like 10.
Oh my God. That's so
I wish I would
funny.
have tried on more though.
That's so funny. Well, I would say like I hated about 90% of them.
That's what's yeah, so the ones yeah, that's what's hard. You kind of have to be like okay with the ones you hate because the ones that like just don't flatter you, they just don't, or like I had an envision of like a certain dress I'd like, and they just all looked bad on me. So I just picked the dress that looked the best on me, which was
Yeah.
way different than I thought that I would
Yeah.
like. But I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, next season will keep us updated. And then it's awesome because I know, how sometimes we go a long chunk of time without seeing each other.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
know I'm going to see you next week.
Yes.
And then I know I'll see you for my wedding, which
Of
will be less
course.
than a year. So at least I get to see you twice in a
I
year.
know. And you know what? Maybe we'll be traveling out there at some point. We'll see. Might be
Hopefully.
exploring that area. So,
But yeah, just to go over. So our first wedding was all about kind of like your wedding, catching up with
yeah.
competing. And then episode 2 was Katie. And I always
Yes.
call her Katie St. Clair because that's her maiden name.
Oh my God.
Gutwald is her
I've only
married
known her
name.
as Gutwald, I think. So, but that episode was just amazing because I think for you, like, you were her first coach, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so seeing that fruition, and then I've been friends with her since, at least acquaintance with her since 2019 or something. So I just seeing her, like, she's so authentic with her struggles, like seeing her finally achieve her goal was like amazing. I think we might have been in Iceland when she did that. And I remember like showing Gary, like, oh my God, look.
I know. No, the key takeaways for that episode for me were just the fact that she stayed the course because now
Yes.
more than ever in any sport, people want a quick way to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she was against steroids, but she wasn't against them in a way that
Right.
was loud and angry towards others. She said,
Yes.
look, I know it's part of my sport. It's inevitable. I just personally made the choice that I don't want to. So I was so proud of just the way she handled that with class.
Right.
And eventually, got her pro card, and I'm laughing because now she's like trying all these different. I think she was doing like what's it called? Not
Tough
Muay Thai.
Mudder?
Is that Muay Thai the other
Oh, Muay
day?
Thai. Or
Yeah,
okay, I didn't see
yeah,
that.
yeah. So I was like, okay, I love her for just
I don't know why
trying.
I guessed Tough Mudder. I just like see her like always outside, so I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's so funny. I posted a video of these little bunnies jumping from my trail cam, and she's like told me like, oh, just like leave it up to me to be the one to tell you that those bunnies really are playing. I'm like, how do you know that?
Oh, that's so cute.
She's such a
Oh yeah,
farm
I
girl.
saw
I
that you
love it.
posted that the black and white
Yeah,
one with the
they're so
yeah.
cute. But yeah, I think the takeaway for me from that episode was like stand strong in your values, you know? I think I'm really easily kind of swayed or scared what people are going to think about me. And she's like, nope, I know who I am. I'm going to stick to it. I'm not going to be pressured any other way. And, you know, I'm just going to keep working towards it. So um, that just really was really cool to hear her actual whole story because I haven't heard it before.
I know. Yeah, she's awesome. And then the next episode we did was the only one of Just Us besides the season opener where we talked about discipline and burnout. So I actually did want to ask you because I know you haven't talked about it too much, but you hire someone that we interviewed for nutrition?
Yes, yes. So I
Okay, that's what I
hired,
thought.
I did hire Spencer, who's the inside out coach. He unfucks your gut, quote unquote. But yeah, so it's going really well. We're, I guess I am a dysregulated athlete. Um, but it's great. It's very different because, in the past, like we talked about, I was like pretty much starved for a couple of years and juggling all these things, definitely burnt out. So right now I'm learning how to regulate my nervous system a little bit more and create, did a lot of habits, and it's, I'm still not perfect. I'm still not like totally at my goals and stuff like that, but I do feel a lot better. And so, yeah.
Are you still working, trying to figure out like the blood glucose stuff? I know that was kind of
Yeah,
bouncing
so
around.
that's a symptom that was a very, so I thought that was the main problem because it really, I could connect my anxiety to my blood sugar at that point. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm dying. Something's wrong with my pancreas. Something's wrong with, me like that. Like, and they couldn't really find anything like with my blood work, like my insulin sensitivity is really good. My A1C is fine. Um, so, it's one of those things that really, I tried to find answers so hard. And as I was trying to find answers, I kept on finding these other little things that were, quote unquote, wrong with me or not optimal. And really, there's no one who can say, you have this, you have this. My biggest thing is like just trying to let go and let it be because I'm not having those symptoms anymore with the blood sugar. I still get like kind of caught up with it. Like still sometimes might feel like I have it. But I'm not, I don't feel like it's like as active. And I think it was just from the culmination of stress, which I'm still working through, just being dysregulated in that way, how all my hormones are interacting with each other with thyroid, cortisol, all that stuff. So I don't really have the answer. Like that was the scariest symptom, and I thought was the problem, but it just actually was a bigger thing, if that makes sense. Just everything kind of working together. And luckily luckily no one's saying, oh, you have pancreatitis or, oh, diabetes or something like that, or anything like that, or a tumor or anything like that. But so it's I kind of like feel weird because I don't have answers, but I have to learn to just be like, okay, with that was just something that happened and it was some kind of response to something, and I'm trying to move on, and just work with keeping my body healthy so I can feel good and like enjoy how good my life is. Because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, damn, like I still have bad days, but like, and bad weeks, but like, that was like the darkest, which was weird because my life was so good, is so good and was so good at the time. But like, it was just like, the life was like, I'm gonna punch you in the face right now. Like you have to like stop, so motivated to get going and get strong again and all this stuff. And so anyway, that was a whole thing. I'm okay. But just what bodies do. They just
Yeah.
go
And
crazy if you go.
you know the saying, ignorance is bliss?
Yes. Oh my God. I know. I wish I'd never known.
Well, I feel like we live in this age where we have access to so
Hmm.
much, and then you're coach for a living, so part of your personality is to problem solve. So
Yeah.
it's almost like once you start talking about it and looking at answers or looking at solutions, and then you said, you were looking for exactly what was wrong, and it's like, and
Yeah.
then your entire algorithm is going to
Yes.
suggest you
Yeah.
have one thing, and so then I feel like that really feeds into the anxiety. But once it's at the forefront of your mind and you don't feel good, it's hard just to put it to rest.
Yeah.
So
I know. That's how I
double
feel. And I still go through that sometimes. And I just have to I did buy a brick to brick my phone. So I can't use ChatGPT, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, anything once I have it bricked on a schedule. So because I have the scheduling on my phone, for focus modes, but this won't even come up. I won't accidentally see a notification at all. And if I want to, am I sitting there and I'm like, wait, in my low blood sugar or my stomach, I can't Google something about it, So it does help me
the app.
with those kind of compulsions.
The app, it's called
hmm
Bricked.
Yeah.
Mm,
Brick. You know the brick thing?
Brick.
We've talked before. The thing you put on your you can put it's a magnet you put and you tap your phone to it and it shuts your phone off
Yeah.
or whatever apps you want.
Oh, we should reach out to them.
Yeah, that'd be a perfect sponsor.
Seriously, because we always talk about
Yes.
how you should put our phone away. And
Yeah.
you and me both. It's so funny when we text. There's never a time where we don't have notifications. It always says,
Oh, my
do you
phone
want
is
to alert her?
Yeah, my
And it's
phone's always
yeah.
accidentally always on Do Not Disturb now. I think I accidentally because it used to be on a work mode, but now don't even change it because whatever. I look at my phone every 5 seconds anyways, so I'll
Yeah.
see it or 10 minutes, 30 minutes. I've been better about it now, but so I might not see it for a while, but I don't know.
Anthony's mom said something to me the other day. She was like, "Oh yeah, I never want to text you because your phone." I was like, "Oh, don't worry about it." I was like, "I just treat text messages like email." And then it was funny because
Yeah.
the other day I was waiting for a call back from the doctor, and they said, I'll call you between 2:45 and 3:15.
Uh-huh.
And so my phone was off Do Not Disturb while I was waiting for that call. And I'm like, okay, this is why it's always on Do Not Disturb, because now I get texting from
Yeah.
companies,
Yeah.
their ads are texting, and then I got
Yeah.
a spam call, and I was like, okay, I just have too much anxiety if my phone's
Yeah.
on. And you might think oh, it must be nice to have people that care about you. I'm like, it's not even people, it's ads.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's I'll get to it soon. I will get to it. I just don't want to be interrupted by the other things because of if I lose my focus, that's gone,
Yeah. And then, okay, so then our episode, that was a kind of a depressing, the discipline burnout episode, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. You have
Yeah.
answers and all that. So I actually have a specialty appointment at the end of March that I'm nervous for. So my white blood cell count has been so abnormal for years. And I kind of just,
Right.
ignored it, chalked it up as maybe it's hereditary because I feel fine. And then I was abnormally sick for 6 weeks. You remember this past Christmas?
Yeah.
And they said that might have something to do with it. So finally I'm getting into a specialist, but again, it took months. And then they told me yesterday, which I think this is kind of funny just because it goes along with so many of our conversations. They said, just a heads up, your appointment is the end of March. We won't cover it. And you've already used 2 out of your 6 visits for the year. So I said, okay, I'm guessing for this initial appointment that I have to pay $350 out of pocket, they're just going to request blood labs to get up-to-date ones. And she was like, yes, correct. So I said, okay, is there any way to speed up along the process and save me some money? We can get the labs prior so that I can bring them in that day. And she was like, hold on, put the phone down, went to go ask. And they said no. So then I said, okay, worst case scenario, let's say I have cancer, which I don't think I do, obviously, but let's say I did. Can I only come to your facility 6 times this year?
Oh my gosh.
She was like, that's a really good question. She's like, I will bring that up. And I was like, yeah, thank you.
Oh my gosh.
So it's never...
I get it. I've been through it a lot like that too recently. It's so frustrating. Yeah, I'm about to actually, after the Arnold, I'm going to the endocrinologist. And this is from when it was happening to me back in August. That's my first appointment I was able to get in with them. I'm like, well, it's not happening anymore.
You'll have to let me know how that goes, because when I had
Oh,
my endocrinologist,
yeah.
when I
Sorry, go
had my
ahead.
endocrinologist appointment that I waited again like 7 months
Yeah.
to get into, the doctor came in and pretty much yelled at me. He was like, "Well, you take thyroid medication." He goes, "I'm surprised you can even
I'm
sleep at
dreading
night."
it because I know I know already what he's gonna say. I already know he's gonna say it. And I'm like, oh, I'm dreading it. So I'm like, I have to coach myself of what I'm gonna like tell him.
Girl, yes, stick up for yourself, because I feel like it was so funny. I remember the face of the nurse practitioner, because it was the nurse practitioner
Hmm.
and the head doctor. When I explained to him, like, very matter of factly, I was like, "Oh, I take this dose and this dose, and then when my calories get higher and my A1C1 is this and this, then I taper it down." And she was like, I was like, "Yes, so I know my stuff." So I was like, "So when I come in here for an appointment and you tell me without even feeling my parathyroid that I must be wrong," I was like, "I think you're doing your job wrong."
Oh my gosh. I've had so many instances where I like talk to a doctor. I'm like, they have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm like, they're like, what? I'm like, okay, never mind. But yeah, I'm dreading the endocrinologist. I really am. But
Well, go in with a positive mindset. Who knows? You could have
yeah,
like an outstanding doctor.
I hope so. I really
So,
do.
yeah, I hope so too. So, and then okay, so our next episode was pretty cool. It was actually our first we had a lot of IFBB pros on this season.
I know we
Yeah.
did. We
Cuz
did.
before we just kind of more dabbled with like strength sports.
Yeah.
But we had Justin O'Donnell on, who
Hmm.
was someone that I just found online. He was
Hmm.
friends. I found him because my good friend Shui, who lives in Florida, who is an IFBB figure competitor, is dating someone that coached him. So he like stumbled upon my page, and then Meg actually posted something he posted that I thought was really funny. It was talking about something along the lines of not having enough time and like teasing,
Yeah.
when clients say like, "Oh, I don't have time to
Right.
work out." It was just something kind of like in a smart ass way. So I was like, "Oh, who is this?" I followed him and I was like, "Oh, he has really good content. I think he presents it in a unique way." And then when I heard part of his story about like his skin disease and then not being able to train the way he wanted for a year, I was like, "Oh, this is a really cool story." So I just reached out to him and sent him to you to ask, and you said, "Yeah, sure." And then yeah, I remember you said you were really surprised for everything
Yeah.
he
I was like,
did.
this conversation was just like amazing. It made me, like everything you said, like his story, the what he posts, what he writes, and stuff like that is great. But I, my biggest takeaway that was like personal to me from that was really is just reminding me how much like I crave to be creative and how being creative is important and important to me. So, start getting my juices going of like, carving out more time for those kind of like hobbies and stuff that I enjoy like that. So, like for me, there's a lot of things that, um, he said that definitely like, well, it kind of made me think like, oh, kind of change my, train of thought and more of like outlook on things. So,
Yeah, I felt the same way. I actually got a Kindle and started using it shortly thereafter that, because he said he reads or writes every day. And
uh-huh.
writing is something I used to do every day. And then I feel like it kind of goes through phases. So I've been more reading, reading, reading. And I know that eventually, reading, the more you read, the better of a writer you're
Right.
going to be. So that inspired me to do that. But I especially just loved how, because sometimes, I don't know if you feel this way, but sometimes I almost feel like the sense of guilt when I'm like, okay, I want to be a good athlete. I want to be a good coach. I want to be good at social media, but I can't just ever be 100% with one thing. And I know a lot of
Hmm.
people will argue, if you want to be stellar at one
Hmm.
thing, it has to be your life. You have to be obsessed. And I just feel like I get really depressed when I hyper focus
Hmm.
on just one thing. So it was a nice reminder that you can be multiple things and you shouldn't
Right.
just be one thing.
Yes, and I agree, especially coming from an IFBB pro, who we know that you have to be like super dedicated, super like rigid too, but like he can even carve out space for his own creativity and stuff that like is not monetized. It's just for his own fulfillment. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's it's a good example of like how that's possible. But I agree, like being hyper focused on one thing is stressful.
Yeah, and I can bring you. I actually bought his Amazon book after. I felt bad. I should have read it
Yeah.
before we interviewed him, but it's a super easy, quick sci-fi read. I can bring it to you at the Arnold for the plane
Okay,
ride home if you
cool.
want. You could probably finish it in like 3 hours. So
Okay, awesome.
yeah, super cool.
Love it.
So then on the other side of the coin, we then interviewed John Jewett right after that, which
Hmm.
was, he is literally like a machine. Like he is,
Yes.
he is so, I think it's impressive that he can pretty much, I feel like his top three things in life are bodybuilding, business, and his wife and dogs.
Yes.
His wife and dogs are kind of on the same level. Like
Hmm.
he is perfectly happy, kind of, you know, family's important to him. But it was just kind of cool to see that he doesn't get depressed. Like I was just saying, I do if I just focus on one thing, but he
Right.
seems to be really happy just pursuing that never ending goal of continuously getting better.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I always find it interesting. I was like so excited to talk to him just to kind of get to know, like, obviously, who he is, what makes him tick, but in the business side of things too, about we always talk about like delegating and stuff, just to kind of see also how he does manage social media. Because like it seems like he's very popular, he's really good at social media, but it doesn't like penetrate him like it has, at least with me in the past, like when you're like seeing all the comments, what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah.
not, he's done it in a way where, he's like, well, I just never really cared about Instagram,
Yeah.
um, and that was, it was cool to get kind of just his perspective on how he runs things. I mean, obviously right now he's a social media manager and stuff, but, he's made it just part of his job rather than, um, overthinking it or spending, he's able to delegate it, those parts, so that he can get out the useful information and not take on those like the negative side effects of social media.
Yeah, no, I thought that was impressive too, that he literally just treats it like a business.
Yeah.
And then now that I know that, I'll pay attention. And every once in a while, he will put up a personal post of just like him eating
Yeah.
sushi with his wife and hanging out with the dogs or something. And I can tell because it's worded in such a more
Yeah.
relaxed way rather than, promoting. Obviously, he has to
Right.
promote his courses and stuff, but I can kind of tell like how he writes now
Uh-huh.
because it's more relaxed, just like him.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
so that was cool. And then I was shocked that he had tried strongman. That was kind of he
I
waited till the end
know.
to
I
tell
was
us
like,
too.
what? Yeah. I
Yeah,
was like, what? Why didn't you tell us way earlier? That's
I know.
crazy. It was crazy. It was fun.
So that was a cool episode, and I think it was just exciting for us because I think he was probably, again, I hate to rank people by popularity, but in terms of like everyone kind of knows in the bodybuilding world at least who
Hmm.
John Jewett is because of his education. So
Right.
it was cool to have like a really high caliber guest on and learn from him. And
Yeah.
I was impressed. Like he was someone like, how usually if you or I have a guest on, one of us knows them.
Yeah.
He didn't know either one of us, and he said
Right.
he answered because it was something different. So that gave me confidence
Yeah.
too. Like, okay, we really do have something different.
Yeah, honestly, that was like that kind of did spark something in my brain too. I was like, oh wait, because he was like, oh, it's like two female athletes, podcasts, business barbell's boobs name. It was like fun and something different. So, yeah, that was cool. That was really cool.
Oh yeah, and you can't say our podcast name without quickly talking about what happened to us this season. That was the only
Oh,
stressful
I know. That was the stressful part. Ugh. All right.
We
Well,
we were
in.
shadow banned. Yeah, we were shadow banned on Instagram because of, so in October 6th, I think it was, Meta, I was reading an article about it. Meta purchased basically a bunch of like AI bots to try and make Instagram and Facebook like a kid-friendly place. So anything, they just scan people's bios, anything that from the robots could be deemed as inappropriate got a flag. So I had a personal flag because in my bio, I had
Mm-hmm.
the barbell business boobs.
Mm-hmm.
So when I took it out, I would be unflagged, but then our page wasn't unflagged and I kept changing things. And I finally got through to Meta because you know how it can be. Like they make you wait for
Yeah.
hours and then they don't send you a notification when they alert you. So if you miss them, then they're just like, try
Right.
again. So I was trying for days and I finally figured out that even though we had changed our podcast name to on Instagram only to Barbell Business Babes, because
The
of our
logo.
first pinned
Yeah.
post, which was our logo,
Oh.
it was that. So you were kind enough to quickly like redo everything. And I was sad because I was like, I don't want to have to change Spotify and
Right.
YouTube and my sign. Like I
Right.
didn't want
Like,
to change all
no.
that. So luckily it all worked out. It was just a pain in the ass. And then just to make a little laugh about how ridiculous it is, I then my personal account was flagged because I had put in my bio world record grip holder from like my Stein stuff.
Uh-huh.
And they said that was inappropriate. And so when I started researching
Okay.
more, I'm like, so again, this maybe shows our age, but I guess Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion, one of them, termed the coin like grip strength means something else, which I'm sure you can figure out if you really think about it.
Right.
So,
But still, I feel like that is such a reach. But okay, when I put like something like I'm like talking about
push
push
jerk.
jerk, and I'm like, you're a jerk. It's like it flags that it's annoying. And I used to be shadow banned because look strong naked in my bio, so that's why I'm like giving up on my bio. So
Yeah, same. My bio is super boring, but I have the barbell business babes in it now, and I
mhm.
haven't had any issues. And then
Yeah.
the last funny thing I'll say about that is because I was checking like every Instagram trying to figure out. Then, so if you, so I was shadow banned originally because I had mentioned barbell business boobs, right? Changed the
Hmm.
name. I was good. Then I had an issue. Fixed that. Whatever. I was all good. But then during the time, so you know how I have an Instagram for Rosie.
Hmm.
So because when I was shadow banned in her bio, it says like adventures with my mom, B dimes. Rosie was then shadow
Oh
banned
my
because I,
gosh,
and so that's what I looked at, and
that's so ridiculous.
I was like, this has to be a joke. This has to be a joke.
Oh
So,
my gosh, that's so dumb.
but knock on wood,
Ugh.
hopefully that never happens again
Yes.
because I was kind of doubting. I'm like, okay, well, can we even get sponsors if we're shadow banned?
Right.
But all good now. We've been good. So
Yes. Crisis averted for
yes.
now.
Yeah, for now. Okay, and then the next episode we did was with Spencer, which I think it's really cool that you're working with him now. Was that because did like the episode kind of make you want to work with
I
him?
was thinking about it before too. Um, just from like conversations we had had, online, just seeing his content and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, it was like a few weeks after the podcast. I was like, okay, like I'm ready to, see what he has to say and stuff. Because I was working with like a natural doctor and stuff before, so I didn't want to like mix too many minds. So I was kind of waiting until like see where that was going. So yeah, that episode I thought was really important because you as an athlete you don't really think about like your health like or like what's going on inside you and what doing these heavy weights and pushing your body like actually does to you and like unless you're taking good care of your body and listening to your recovery and stuff like that. But at some point we both have kind of like broken at some point, whether it was like at the end of a prep, or dieted too long, or losing periods, start being losing sleep, or injuries and stuff like that. So I think it's important because you don't really realize kind of how the stress of that influences a lot of systems. And a lot of times we don't connect like our training or under recovery to um, maybe our mental health too. So I just think it was an important episode put out there just so you can start thinking of things a little bit differently and open your eyes to it's not usually all just everything's be fixed with BPC. It could just be you should probably look at your all your training and your nutrition and your digestion as a whole.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That what you said too is that
Mm-hmm.
as athletes, we're not always the epitome of optimal health because
Mm-hmm.
we want to perform at our sport and we also look good. And so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes to the average person that might look healthy, but then you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And with that in mind, when you said lifting heavy weights, it's like, yes, the general population now
Mm-hmm.
knows it's good for us to
Yes.
lift weights,
Yes.
thanks to Huberman and all these like
Mm-hmm.
mainstream podcasters and health people saying
Mm-hmm.
it. But the average person isn't at the gym. Like you have this one, I think you were doing like the hold, like the crucifix hold and like walking with
Mm-hmm.
it. And like
Yeah.
your eyes are bulging out of your head. And I think you said after
Yeah.
you had some like some like dots. It's like, okay, if you're
Right.
breaking blood vessels when you're lifting,
Yeah.
or, you know, you're at the point, like, I don't know if this ever happened to you. I've blacked out before, like from putting log on my
Hmm.
chest. That's not average. So,
Yeah.
and again, I believe most of our listeners fall in that caliber of like
Hmm.
an athlete, like that's
Right.
pushing themselves versus just like a regular person. So I think
Right.
his episode, Overcoming Dysfunction, when it's portraying to like a real athlete that pushes himself, was so important, because there's not a lot of experts in that space, because we're kind of always just taught to like,
Right.
it's okay, push anyways, push through it.
Or
And
yeah.
yeah,
Or understand it too. I mean, it's people say, "Oh, like your resting heart rate's so good, you're healthy," but I don't feel good, you know. So a lot of people write you off unless you're sick. So it's good to have experts out there or and people in the field who like work with athletes. Like you said, he works with Aaron Murray for all those big weight cuts and all those things. And other and just normal people for your normal people, you know, just you're not non-athlete too that might need a little bit extra help in that area. So I just think it's a good place to start, a good eye opener. And you can say, oh, that's weird. I do have diarrhea every day. Maybe that isn't normal. You know, like I was saying, like people like you get used to those kind of things.
I thought my favorite part of that episode, which is such simple advice, was he reminded us to simply breathe before meals so
Yes.
that you take yourself from that parasympathetic to that
Hmm.
sympathetic nervous system state. And I was like, wow, because someone had told me that before and I kind of just
Yeah.
forgot to do it. And, you know, we're so busy like all the time. Sometimes I'll eat while I'm working. So I've been
Right.
really, since that episode, I have been really mindful
Yes.
to try and like take a few deep breaths.
Yes.
That way, because I know like when you chew your food slower, that's helping your
Yes.
digestion anyways. So that was a really cool piece of advice, just like kind
Yeah.
of going back to the basics.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I've been implementing that too. You know, eating slower. And you know what's interesting too is like I used to eat so fast, but it's because I was so hungry and my meals were so little. So it was like I just inhale it. Like before Gary was even a bite into his meal, my whole meal was done because it was so small. It was, you know, so I'm like, I barely chew it. And I was just like so hungry. So it just made me remember that. So if you're eating fast like that, you know, slow down and also be like, am I just starving all the time for no reason?
Well, yeah, exactly. I used to, when I was in like when we were on that episode talking about dysfunction, when I was under eating for so long, I can remember after
Hmm.
every meal, like because someone told me it was gross once, and I said, like, I was like, well, you're not trying hard enough. I was like licking all
Yeah.
of my Tupperware like clean like a dog, because I was so like, I would have one meal and I'd be like, that's
Right.
it, that's all I have. I'm
Yeah.
so hungry, I wanted to cry. So that was good to hear, and I don't feel like
Yes.
that anymore ever. Even when I'm in prep on a deficit, like, yes, I'm
Good.
hungry, but there's a difference between hunger and
Yeah.
actual starvation, because with
Yes.
starvation, like, you're shaking and you're sweating,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's like a panic state.
yeah, like he said, fight or flight, and most of
Hmm.
these athletes, we are in fight and flight. So,
Hmm. Yep.
and then we wrapped up with Meg's episode, which was just, I couldn't believe that you had never saw what she
I
looked like
don't,
as a 110-pound ballerina.
yeah. Well, I didn't start following her until recently, until she moved to Greenville. Really, I'd seen her post. She was always on my explore, but you know, I've
Yeah.
utilized her stuff before, but I think I just missed that part. I just had no idea. You know, because maybe she had been posting about it before or something. But yeah, I totally missed that. I just knew about like wellness. I was kind of like new from wellness to bodybuilding, your
Okay.
physique.
Yeah, so that was fun to see your reaction, because I can remember like just being shocked and like showing other people how cool I thought that was.
Yeah, no, it's interesting too because it's just it's cool because I mean there's just so much cool stuff about her with her knowledge and everything and how she applies that knowledge to her clients and gets those results and her education, just all the different like life stages. You know, everything's been really cool to see. Um, but what you know, I guess admire most about her too, because she's really regimented, but she does also she seems kind of relaxed around it. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Like, I mean, she's very rigid and regimented in that way and very serious, but like, she's not like, if I don't win, I'm gonna die. You know, like she just seems like chill.
Yeah, and I really like, and I almost feel like it's becoming more popular, which is a good thing. But when I was around a lot of bodybuilders in like 2002, 20, no,
Hmm.
2019 to 2022, I feel like it was kind of almost like, I think it maybe it comes from the some of the 80s bodybuilders, but they wouldn't do anything extra. And they thought that if
Yeah.
they went for a walk or did extra, that it was
Right.
like harming them. Now, luckily, with more people talking about steps and stuff, like Meg went for her, like went on hikes, I think every Sunday
Hmm.
during prep, which is so important because I think so many times people still think like they can't do that stuff.
Right. Right. That's definitely, I think it's important for people to hear too, because even people, even me doing like a strongman prep, like or a powerlifting prep, it's like how many vacations did I say, no, I won't go on, or
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I'm like, for what? I mean, I think bodybuilding is of course a little bit different because you could, really mess up. Let's say you're not going to go to like Mexico and go to all inclusive resort while you're in prep, or anything like that. But I'm saying like to forego family time or time with your partner. Of course, there's like some sacrifices you have to make, but she can do it and still manage those relationships and have a healthier day to day with like going outside, going on hikes, and doing things she enjoys is pretty cool.
I will argue with you, and I feel like this might stir some feathers. I
Uh
do
huh.
think it's easier to travel. Like obviously, you probably wouldn't want to go to Cancun on
Uh
bodybuilding
huh.
prep and be around all you can eat and drink, but I
Uh huh.
definitely think it's easier to travel on bodybuilding than strongman for sure.
Really?
I think just because of like the type of workouts, because you can do a bodybuilding
Yeah.
workout anywhere. With
Oh yeah.
strongman, it's
Anywhere.
yeah. And then
Oh
some
well,
for
yeah.
me,
That would make sense.
and also like leaving the house. Like I love traveling on prep because you're leaving the house and just bringing your meals with you, so you're not just thinking about your next meal.
Yeah. No, I
So
get that.
just
It
my,
is fun to
but
train at
yeah,
different gyms though, at least.
super fun. So yeah, that was our season. And do you have anything in mind for next season? I don't know if you thought about people you'd want to interview or people that have asked.
No, but let's just keep this going, I want to keep on I've really enjoyed having the guests on because I feel like we've just done like each episode I kind of left like more inspired or had more ideas and just like getting to know people too. That's
Yes,
good.
I
What
love
about
that
you?
part of it too. Yeah, no, same thing. I'd like to have more people in all different sports. And I mean, maybe this is a big long term goal, but it'd be so cool to try and get one of the girls that were just on the Winter Olympics. There were so many
Oh
outspoken
my gosh.
females.
It was amazing. Like
Yeah.
we didn't watch any TV for those 2 weeks. We only watched the Olympics at night. We'd like watch an hour of the Olympics, and I'm like so sad it's over. Like I
I
loved the
know.
Olympics and the women. Like we watched mostly the women, and it was just so cool. What was your favorite thing that you watched?
So I was at it was 2 weeks ago, so Sunday, February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. We were watching the men's skiing, but like long distance skiing.
Mm-hmm.
What's the real name for it? It ends up
Slalom
being
or no? Like slow. Wait, oh, like cross country. I don't know.
yeah, cross country skiing. So it was ended up the course was 3.5 miles and it was a relay. I could not believe, except for the guy who placed first, he was from the US, but all the other countries, when they came in, they were like keeled over, dying from the
Yeah.
lactic acid buildup. And they just
Yeah.
stayed there. Like one of the guys was face down in the snow. Like it was comical. And I used to be an endurance athlete, so I can relate to that like lactic acid pain. Cause unlike
Mm-hmm.
lifting where it's like hard and you can do it or you can't, I think there's something special about endurance athletes where you just can keep pushing through
Yes.
that pain. So just seeing them keeled over on the snow was kind of
Yes.
funny,
Yeah.
but awesome just to see the human body push themselves. So that was
Yes.
probably one of my favorite things. And I told Anthony after, because like we snowboard sometimes, but I'm not very good. I was like, that's what
Yeah.
I want to do. He goes, of course you do. I was like, that looks way
That's
less
so
more
funny.
appealing to me than like jumping over things, snowboarding. I was like, that's just
Yeah.
pushing yourself. Cause they were like, there was funny memes
Right.
about it. Did you see the memes? Like, I think,
Yes.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, they were like going
Yeah.
uphill, like with their skis. They were like, I can lift this and this, but you'll never
Yes.
catch me doing that. I was like, I want to
Oh my
try
gosh.
that.
Yeah, 'cause we were like kind of me and Gary were like, which Olympic sport would we do? At first we thought we'd do the one, it was a new one, it's called like slow mo or something, or slow go. I don't know what it's called. Um, but it's kind of the same thing where you're on skis and you run up a hill, then you take the skis off, run up steps, then you go around these triangles, and then you have to put your skis back on, and then you go down the hill. That looks really fun. I love the moguls into the jumps. That was really crazy. And of course the ice skating. I watched all the ice skating, and um, that was just, they had such good storylines, and there were so many like, I think it was was it skeleton or bobsled, like the moms
Bobsledding.
that would that
Oh my
one.
God.
It just, I saw last thing, I saw this meme that was like, the Summer Olympics are like, look how fast this 20-year old can run, and the Winter Olympics is like, watch this 40-year-old mom of three, go down a hill and do three backflips. Like that's kind of how it was. It was like all people, like not all of them. There was a lot of athletes in their 30s, and a lot of moms. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was just so cool.
No, that's amazing. And that was a good reminder for me too, because I think sometimes people that don't have kids that maybe want to be a mom have this like fear, like, will I
Yeah.
still be as athletic? So to see living proof, that always to me
Yes.
is like the most amazing thing. Because but also on top of that, not only can their bodies do that, but they have a family to take care of, and they still,
Yes.
they're the
Oh,
Olympics.
and a
That's
lot of
the
them
top
have normal
achievement.
jobs on top of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, crazy. So maybe we can try to get some of them. And then we also said we'll have to ping her again. Remember Natalia wanted to come on to talk about some of the
yes.
accusations. I would love to have her on
Yes.
again.
Yeah.
So not
Yes.
again, I'll have her on. So
Yes.
I'll once we figure out when we're starting and stuff, I'll send her a message on Instagram too. So
Perfect.
and then if anyone listening
Awesome.
has someone they recommend, definitely let us know.
Yes.
So awesome. Thank you guys. Go back and listen to the episodes and make sure you send them to someone that could benefit from it. A lot of good life lessons, not just in how to be a better athlete, but how to be a better person and optimize your life in general.
Awesome. See you next season.
Bye.
Bye.